we have talked about SEC coaches that are potentially on the hot seat this upcoming season. I think Venables is somebody that you and I both think the Oklahoma faithful are kind of chopping at the bit to see some improvement, right? Like they're ready for Oklahoma to be Oklahoma. They want box suits Oklahoma. They want to see a run in the SEC. They want to see them make the playoffs. And I think the pressure is on. So Venables announced that he is going to be calling the defense for the 2025 season. Does this sound desperate to you?
I think we might disagree on this. Shocker.
Okay. Shock.
But I actually don't hate this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think we've talked about this, and we've talked about this with different people. I think Dave was on your show and talked about this just the other day. To be a head coach and call plays on offense or defense, you have to be elite at it. And yes. I do think that Brent Venables is an elite defensive coordinator.
100%.
And so I also don't think that defense is their problem. So that's not something that needs a mass. Their defense was really good. I know Alabama had their struggles, but they held Alabama to 3 points. They were really good defensively this year. If not for turnovers, they held Tennessee down. Like every big game they played in, with the exception of Texas, their defense was really good and graded out to be, I think, the best or the second best in the SEC. Don't quote me on that. But their defense was really, really good. And so this isn't like a massive change where a head coach is taking back over offensive play calling duties because their offense was bad for a year.
But why take over defensive play calling duties if it wasn't an issue?
Well, they lost they lost. Who did they lose?
I understand. Their previous D coordinator, obviously, but I
think if you don't have the confidence in somebody else to come in and continue running your system the right way, that you can't slip on defense. Like they need to not only improve the offense, but keep the defense humming. So I actually don't hate this. Like he also knows that it comes down to this year. Like they've got to win 7-8 games for him to keep his job. And so I don't know. Do I want my head coach calling plays on either side of the ball? Not really, like in today's football. But I don't hate it as much as maybe I thought I did when I first saw it. The more I thought about it, I don't dislike it that much. Because again, I think he is really, really elite. And I think it's about keeping a system together that did really good things last year, keeping that flowing the way that it is this year. Now, what you've seen as a Florida fan is you only have so many hours in a day, right? Yeah. And so where do other things start to slip at Oklahoma? Do penalties start to slip? Does special teams start to slip? Does recruiting start to slip? Like whatever, right? Like where are you allocating that time, that game film prep time where are you taking that from? And what starts to slip around it? So that's the concern anytime this happens.
That you, and just, catch everybody up watching from home. Zach Alley went to West Virginia, which is how Oklahoma kind of has this opening. But there have been all of these reports of different people that they were interviewing, right? The Arizona D coordinator, like they're just, they were interviewing people. I don't love this decision, shockingly. And maybe that's because I have PTSD because I'm a Florida fan. But in general, it does not work for the head coach to be the head coach and the coordinator, offense or defense. It, in general, does not work. Now, does that mean that there's not instances where it does? Sure, there is exceptions to every rule. And I do think, first and foremost, for that formula to work, you must be an elite play caller, either on offense or defense, obviously, whatever your specialty is. So, and I do think that Brent Venables is that. I think he is an elite defensive coordinator. But exactly what you're saying is what I would be in fear of. Something has to give. When you, especially in the way that college football is right now, the head coach is not only the head coach, they're essentially the CEO as well, right? They handle so many more business aspects of college football that didn't exist 10 years ago. And that takes up your time. You're not getting extra hours in the day. It is, and so I find it hard to believe that something doesn't slip. It's Brent Venables' system that, Allie was there, I think, 1 year. So it's not like, it's not Allie's system, it's Venables' system. And so I get that aspect of it. There won't be, there's no new learning of language. There's no, there's no new playbook. It's all been the same regardless of who was calling the defense. But it's just the responsibility of calling the defense. And I don't know. And I feel like I get the concept though of head coaches feeling the need to bet on themselves in a year where they may be on the hot seat. And I can understand. I think this is the same thing that Billy Napier has gone through at Florida, where it's one of those things that's like, well, if I'm going down and we're going down my way,
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on myself because I'm the person that's losing this job. So am I in a year where I could get canned? Does it make sense for me to teach somebody else how to run the system I want run? I can see that argument. I don't know.
I
I just
mean,
think something's
and
bound to slip.
for that same reason, I mean, and again, I'm stealing from Dave again, but like, I don't even hate it as much as I thought I did. Like, I don't hate it as much from Napier's perspective this year as I did last year. Now, hate is a funny word because obviously I want Florida to do poorly, but like, just looking at it, rivalry aside, just thinking like what's best for a program. Like, I hated it last year more than I hated it this year. But we all last year, and Napier included, thought that that was his make or break year. And I mean, it was, right? Like, if they had gone 4-8, they would have fired him. But like,
I mean,
I think that this
the
year
curve
with
hasn't
Lagway,
matured. It probably is,
right?
right? Like,
And
but it's the same system. It's just a generational quarterback. And
he's
could
got
that
he's got his
generational
quarterback. And again,
quarterback,
if the ship's going down,
yeah,
I'm steering it. Like, I am the one that's going to determine whether this thing works or not.
yeah,
So like, I know Florida fans are not thrilled with it, but
no,
to me, I mean, he's got such a large staff. They're hiring all these guys to work like the off-field stuff, like some of the NIL stuff, like the GMs and this, that, and the other. There should be enough support around him to where this makes sense.
yeah,
To me, it's not. I don't even know if it's like that Napier's letting other stuff slip, as opposed to. I mean, he's missed on some hires, if we can just be very frank. Like, it's not just that his offense, like, he can't call plays, because I think the offense has been, the brighter of the two spots in his 3 years there. It's the fact that their strength and conditioning wasn't good when they started. They didn't have the focus on special teams when they started. Like, they've gone through defensive coordinators now. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I think there are pros and cons to everything that's happened, but I don't know. Like, I don't hate the Napier one. I like the Venable. I like
no.
Venables calling plays a little more than Napier. No,
Oh,
because
the
Venables
Venables
is
thing I
certainly more elite.
understand because, well, here's the other thing. That's what we said. Step one. Step one, to even consider doing both, you must be an elite play caller.
Right.
I do not believe that there is a single person that would call Billy Napier an elite play caller.
Yeah, just good.
Ever. That
Like, just
doesn't mean he
above
wasn't a
average.
great play caller or
Yeah.
very good play caller or whatever. But elite is something like, I would say there's probably 5 elite play callers on either side of the ball in college football that I would allow the term elite to be used for, right? It's just it's the very select few. It's the 1% of 1%.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that that's his strong suit. Let's not even get on the Florida topic, but I'll be interested to see how this works out because I would not advise this.
So, I mean, listen, for every Billy Napier that there is, that sounds like such a bad shot. There is a Steve Sarkisian. There is somewhere
Yeah,
in the
but I
SEC
think
where
Steve Sarkisian cost Texas at least in the SEC championship by being the play caller, and that's somebody that
yeah,
is an elite
maybe,
play caller that
but
has had issues.
got him there.
I mean, I guess. I guess. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. This was part of our live show. If you want more content just like this, make sure you are subscribed to A Peek Inside SEC Football. Talk to you real soon.